Good morning. Thank you for coming. And have you ever wanted a cup of chai tea but you didn't want the caffeine that's in it? Well, I'm going to show you a couple of options. There are more than two, but hopefully we'll get two made this morning of options that you can use. I'm going to start out with one called Cramp Bark. I love its other name, which is called Gilder Rose. I think that sounds much nicer. So I want to tell you something about this Gilder Rose, our cramp bark. It's good for all kinds of cramps: menstrual, muscle cramps, muscle tension. It's good for IBS. It's good for coughing when you can't stop, arthritis, muscle strain, and high blood pressure. A lot of good uses in cramp bark or Gilder Rose. And I want to make not very much, so I'm going to start out with a tablespoon. And I'm just going to estimate, this is my 2-cup measure. I'm just going to put there about a tablespoon in it. We're not building a piano, so it doesn't need to be exact. And ginger root, we want 2 tablespoons of ginger root. Okay. And we want 2 tablespoons of the orange peel, and this is dried from our oranges. No spray, pesticides or herbicides. Okay. And then some cinnamon chips, and it's about 1 tablespoon. I'm just going to put in some. And let me tell you, all I have is sticks. It'd be nice if you could get some cinnamon chips. And if you break your own, don't do it in your spice grinder, and put it in a plastic bag and then pound on it. So, this went in my orange. Okay, then we want a teaspoon of peppercorns. Okay, we want a teaspoon, and I think this is a teaspoon, yes it is, of your peppercorns. That goes in. One of them pops out. Okay, and then about a half a teaspoon of, and this probably I haven't done yet. No, not coriander, cardamom pods. Okay, I'm just going to take it over to my spice grinder. I'm actually going to grind up what I have in the jar because I want to use it for the other mix. So here we go. Forgive me. I thought I had everything ready. Okay, enough done. I'm going to bring the whole thing over here. And they said we only want about 2 of the cardamoms, so I'm just going to put some in there. A lot of you, the cardamom, you either love it or hate it, and I love the smell of it, and I guess I like it. Yes, I do. Okay, and then we're going to put in a few cloves. Cloves go a long way, but you have to have cloves. It's sort of like you have to have heart. Okay, that is it. And what you'll do with that, it takes about a quart or a quart and a half. It takes a quart and a half of water. You're going to put it on. You're going to put this in the water. You're going to bring it to a boil and then turn it down to simmer. And you want it to simmer for about an hour, and then strain it and drink it with your milk and honey. And because of the herb, the Gilder Rose or the cramp bark, you want it to really extract out of there, and that's why it takes about an hour for that one to make. So that one we've done. Okay, and then I just love Lois's recipe. So what I'm going to do to avoid the caffeine, I'm going to use something else, and I'm going to use chicory root. And we'll make it right in this bowl. And what I have in here is about 1/4 of a cup of chicory root. And I got a confession to make. This is really powder, and it's sort of clunky, but what you need is not necessarily the powder, but the chips, or the root. Or is chicory a root? Or anyway, it would be better not powder, because that can turn muddy in your tea, but it's all I have and I'm going to try it. Okay, and then I'm just going to follow basically Lois's recipe for the spices in it. And you can't go wrong with that, with Lois's recipes. Whatever Lois does is good, is excellent. Just remember that. If you hear Lois's name on it, you know it's good. Okay, I want about 3 or 4 tablespoons of the orange peel. And that might be basically what I have, well, what I have in this jar. Maybe a little more. Okay, remember, we're not building a piano, so you can do more or less. Okay, now we want 1 tablespoon of the cloves. Okay, and I'm going to estimate, and that's about 1 tablespoon. Okay, that would be, this is a 2 tablespoon, I'm not filling it up. And that goes in. Okay, the cardamom, we want 1/4 a cup. Well, I'm just about out of cardamom, so I'm not sure if it's 1/4 of a cup. We'll sort of measure. It's whatever, yeah, it's pretty close. So it's all I have, and I hit it with a grinder just enough to open those pods to release the seeds. And it's green cardamom that you want. Cardamom comes green and brown. Okay, then we want 6 star anise, and those are such beautiful spices. I tried to show you the other day, but I don't think they showed up. But anyway, 1, 2, I'm going to break them up, 3, 4, 5, 1 more. Okay, that's my star anise, and then the fennel seed, and the fennel seed I want 1 tablespoon. Well, it's just my jar. I need to order more. I don't know if that was the fennel lid. Okay, and then she put in candied ginger, but I'm just going to put in ginger. And it is 3 tablespoons. Again, that's pretty much what I have in this jar. No, I've got a little more. Okay, that's about 3 tablespoons. And I don't think, somehow I thought she had black pepper in hers. Yes, I don't have the black pepper in, do I? I put it in the other black pepper. We're going to put in more. Oh, and it's in right here. My black pepper actually says fenugreek seed, so it's a little trickier to find. And what we want on the black pepper is about 1 tablespoon. So that goes in. Now, let me tell you something else. I've got this in the chicory root, but actually if you could put chicory root and dandelion root together, it would be better. But I want to tell you, all of us can't like the same thing, or all of us don't do well on the same thing. And dandelion is one of those things that I can't do. And when I first started taking my herb classes, I was so excited. And dandelion was one of the first herbs they talked about. Well, it's a common thing in everybody's lawn. And I went out, and especially I got them from my son's yard because I knew that wouldn't be sprayed. And there was no animals on it at that time. So I got it and I made it into a tincture. I waited, and then it was ready. I strained it, I used it, and my mouth got so sore. I just could, it took several days for it to get well. Well, I thought, you know, I must have had some chemicals in that, and I threw it all away, and I ordered some organic, non-sprayed dandelion root and started all over again, and the same thing happened. Sore mouth. Anytime I get dandelion root, same thing happens. So I avoid it, but the rest of you might do really well on it. Has a lot of good things in it, and so it would be worth doing. So there you have it, 2 options for chai tea. And so make yourself a cup of tea, enjoy. And one last thing about my shampoo. Be sure if you make my shampoo, because it has coconut milk in it, refrigerate it. You don't want it to go bad. And so that's my last little thing. Enjoy your day, and I wish you could come and have a cup of tea with me. Bye now.